From violent riots to jaw-dropping escapes, these are the most shocking prison moments ever caught on camera. Number 10. Cook County Jail. In a startling display caught on video from October 2016, a violent brawl erupted at Cook County Jail's Maximum Security Division 9. This chaos unfolded on a quiet Tuesday night, resulting in injuries and hospitalizations. Around 8:30 p.m., the scene turned chaotic when approximately 30 inmates in a common area suddenly began fighting. The altercation escalated quickly, with detainees stripping off their shirts and trading punches. Caught from above, the footage shows the intense melee, reminiscent of a wild free-for-all with food trays flying through the air as makeshift projectiles. Just 2 minutes into the frenzy, correctional officers jumped into action. They worked swiftly to handcuff some inmates and clear the area of potential weapons, a move that likely prevented further chaos. Despite the rapid response, the violence left its mark. 2 correctional officers and 8 detainees ended up needing medical attention. The aftermath saw the Chicago Fire Department responding swiftly, dispatching roughly a dozen ambulances to the jail. Victims were rushed to nearby hospitals, including St. Anthony Hospital, Mount Sinai Medical Center, and Stroger Hospital, where their injuries, though serious, were reported as non-life-threatening. Back at the jail, additional injuries were treated on site. While 1 deputy stayed in the hospital for observation, 5 detainees remained under medical supervision. Throughout this ordeal, the swift action of the correctional staff was crucial. Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart praised their efforts in managing a volatile situation and minimizing harm, a sentiment echoed by the relieved signs of a community spared even greater violence. What's chilling about this event is not just the violence itself, but the realization of how quickly a seemingly controlled environment can spiral into mayhem. The drone's eye view captures not just a fight, but a stark reminder of the tension simmering just beneath the surface in such high-security areas. Number 9. New Jersey Women's Facility. January 11, 2021, a shocking series of events unfolded at New Jersey's women's prison facility. Multiple officers now face criminal charges, and dozens have been suspended after prisoners reported severe beatings by staff. The tension had been building for weeks, finally erupting in violent incidents, some of which were caught on video. These recordings showed prisoners being attacked by officers clad in riot gear. Among the disturbing cases was that of Emily Dent. When she hesitated during a cell search, the response was brutal. She was punched, resulting in a concussion. In a similar harrowing incident, Daisy Ray Da Silva ended up with a broken orbital bone following a confrontation.
For no reason, like y'all literally were just punching on me. For what?
More distressing reports surfaced from other inmates, like Ajia Nelson, who reported a sexual assault during a search that she protested for being handled inappropriately.
Why is it a man ripping my clothes off? Why is it a man ripping my clothes off? Why is you grabbing my titties? Why is you grabbing my titties? Why is you grabbing my titties?
Ray Rollins shared a chilling account of being kicked and choked while handcuffed. The videos that captured these incidents were murky, making it hard to see the details clearly. This blurriness hinted at an attempt to hide the severity of the officer's actions. As the investigation deepened, evidence suggested that there was an attempt to cover up the true nature of these events, with officers providing misleading reports to mask the extent of their actions. 10 officers are now facing serious charges, including assault and obstructing justice. This facility had already been under scrutiny by the U.S. Department of Justice for allegations of sexual abuse. These latest incidents led to the resignation of the head of the prison system and spurred plans to eventually close the facility altogether. Number 8. Buffalo City Lockup. May 2016, a harrowing incident unfolded inside the Buffalo City Lockup, captured on a video that's as shocking as it is revealing. The footage highlights a brutal encounter involving Sean Porter and Officer Matthew Jaskula, where the severity of the confrontation becomes alarmingly clear. The video starts with Porter, handcuffed, helplessly slammed into a door by Jaskula. The violence doesn't end there. He's then dragged across the floor, his body limp and unresisting, reminiscent of a scene more barbaric than judicial. Around them, other inmates can only watch, some reaching for medical gloves as if bracing for the aftermath. Amidst this chaos, some officers seem disturbingly detached. One nonchalantly spits into a water bottle while jailers strip Porter down to his bare skin, standing in a growing puddle of his own blood. The next scenes are even more degrading if that's possible, as Porter is masked, restrained in a chair, and wheeled off into solitary confinement, left alone to wait for overdue medical help. It takes over an hour and a half before Porter is freed from his restraints. His walk through the lockup is just in his boxers. escorted not to an ambulance but to a police car, underscores the harsh realities of this ordeal. For this egregious abuse of power and violation of civil rights, Jaskula faced consequences, 18 months in federal prison, a sentence he's since served. In a recent turn of events, the city settled with Porter for $300,000. This video, concealed by the city for nearly 3 years, was finally brought to light thanks to legal action, making it a pivotal moment of accountability broadcast exclusively by our station. Number 7. Jail riot. Riots can be terrifying, and the recent one at a correctional facility was no exception. It all started when a tense standoff escalated inside the detention center. Corrections officers resorted to dramatic measures, deploying a flashbang to disorient the inmates. The slow-motion footage captured the chaos vividly. Before setting off the explosive, one officer blocked the slot in the door with his foot, while another shielded his ears, bracing for the loud blast. The resulting explosion sent the inmates scattering in all directions, a bird's-eye view revealing the extent of the panic. As the situation intensified, the tactical support unit equipped with shields, gas masks, and weapons was called in. This specialized team faced 9 determined inmates who refused to retreat to their cells. The inmates, in a desperate bid for control, wrapped shirts around their faces and shoved blankets and powder through the door, trying to block the officer's next move. Amid this turmoil, inmates also resorted to throwing soapy water and various objects, including furniture and a damaged microwave, under the door. It took a second round of explosive interventions before the officers could finally regain control of the facility. After the tumult, the inmates were handcuffed and let out. The aftermath inside was dismal. Water flooded the floors and the air was thick and hard to breathe, saturated with pepper spray. Inmates and guards alike coughed and gasped, pleading for fresh air in a stifling environment. The ordeal, captured from above, provided a stark and scary look at the reality of riots behind bars, a reminder of the unseen battles fought in the shadows of correctional facilities. Number 6. Father of 3 attacked in prison. March 2020. An eerie scene unfolds in the common area of a prison pod. Maurice King, a 34-year-old father of 3, navigates the tense atmosphere, his gaze fixed on Tyler Grants, the man later charged with his fatal assault. After observing a lengthy exchange between Grants and another inmate, King invites Grants into his cell, unknowingly setting the stage for a chilling sequence of events. As the cell door shuts, casting shadows over what follows, 2 more inmates slip inside, their intentions murky. Moments later, another inmate enters, quickly shuts the door, and then exits, leaving King and Grants enclosed in a silent standoff. The air thickens with tension, and within 6 minutes, Grants exits the cell alone, leaving behind a scene that remains unseen and ominous. The pod's routine continues undisturbed as a detention officer begins his rounds, bypassing the lower cells. His path is subtly redirected by an inmate, steering clear of King's cell. It is not until 90 minutes later that the grim reality comes to light. King is found in dire straits. Struggling for every breath, the overweight and asthmatic man is hurriedly carried to the jail nurse by an officer and inmate. In the nurse's office, under harsh clinical lights, King gasps out a haunting account of being stomped and choked. A desperate plea cut short as his conditions worsen rapidly. An ambulance rushes him to the emergency room, but it's too late. King succumbs to heart failure, triggered by the brutal blows to his swollen face, leaving a chilling reminder of the violence that lurks within the walls of confinement. Number 5. Kentucky Correctional Center. It's a tale of shocking misconduct in Louisville, Kentucky. In April 2018, 2 former correctional officers, David M. Schwartz, aged 48, and Devon Evans, were accused of a severe breach of trust. They allegedly beat Terry Whitehead, a 19-year-old prisoner, while he was helpless and handcuffed inside the Louisville Metro Department of Corrections. The incident came to light through body cam footage that starkly captured the moment. It showed Edwards hitting Whitehead twice in the head as the young man sat defenseless. Despite claims from the officers that Whitehead was combative and spitting, court documents revealed a darker truth. Edwards reportedly struck Whitehead while he was restrained and made no attempt to stop Schwartz from continuing the assault. But the controversy didn't end there. Donna Gentry, their supervisor at the time and aged 55, found herself facing obstruction of justice charges. She allegedly tried to shield her team by falsifying a use of force report and directing others to echo her lies. This unsettling drama unfolded further when both Schwartz and Gentry were indicted by a grand jury. The FBI, alongside the Louisville Metro Police Department's Public Integrity Unit, spearheaded the investigation into these grievous actions. Following the investigation, Schwartz and Edwards lost their jobs, while Gentry retired after a demotion due to a separate policy violation. Meanwhile, Terry Whitehead seeks justice through a lawsuit against all 3, all of whom deny the allegations. This ongoing legal battle aims to hold those responsible accountable. casting a stark light on a moment that challenges the very essence of justice and oversight in correctional facilities. Number 4. Cuyahoga County Jail. Nurses at the Cuyahoga County Jail face real risks, and a recent incident highlights just how intense these situations can get. On the morning of January 23, 2019, around 10:15 a.m., a nurse was doing her rounds on the 7th floor when an inmate made a sudden and violent move. She was grabbed from behind right around the neck and head, creating a moment of unexpected danger. Luckily, an officer in the room reacted swiftly. The nurse was freed from the inmate's grip almost immediately, showing just how crucial quick responses are in such high-stress situations. After a quick check to make sure she was okay, she bravely returned to her duties without further incident. Despite the scare, officials were quick to clarify that the nurse wasn't strangled but merely grabbed. The inmate involved was moved to restrictive housing following the attack, highlighting the ongoing concerns about the safety of medical staff in the jail. Security concerns for nurses working in the jail aren't new. They've been voiced before, notably during a county council committee hearing in May of the previous year. The risks they face every day came into sharp focus during this incident, emphasizing the need for vigilant security measures in such unpredictable environments. Number 3. Adams County Jail. An intense investigation is underway in Adams County, following a serious incident involving a deputy and an inmate in December. A shocking body camera footage has emerged, capturing a moment that has raised eyebrows across the community. On December 13, 2022, Deputy John Doe, the name is undisclosed due to ongoing proceedings, was filmed using a chokehold on a 34-year-old inmate, Gabrielle Cisneros, a method of restraining that's been banned in Colorado due to its dangerous implications. The footage, devoid of sound, reveals a critical exchange. It shows Cisneros engaging with the deputy moments before being abruptly restrained. The nature of their interaction remains unclear, but according to use of force expert Ed Obayashi, it appears a comment from Cisneros may have triggered the deputy's drastic action. This insight brings a concerning layer to the event, especially in a controlled environment like jail where inmates are usually unarmed and vulnerable. The intensity of the force used is alarming. The video captures the deputy applying enough pressure to lift Cisneros off his feet, a move that could easily lead to severe injury or worse. Such a display of force within the confines of a jail cell underscores a troubling scenario, sparking questions about the training and restraint protocols in place. In response to the controversy, the Adams County Sheriff's Office has stepped forward with a statement, ensuring full cooperation with the ongoing investigation. They clarified that the incident is being thoroughly examined by the Westminster Police Department, with the 17th Judicial District Attorney's Office poised to decide on any potential criminal charges. While the legal gears turn, the deputy involved has been placed on restricted duty. This precaution means he will have no further contact with inmates until the investigations, both criminal and internal, are concluded. This step is part of a broader effort to scrutinize and possibly recalibrate enforcement tactics, ensuring that all officers adhere strictly to approved procedures and ethical standards. As the community watches closely, the outcome of this investigation will not only determine the future of the deputy involved, but may also influence policing practices in Adams County. With the serious nature of the allegations and the potential for significant policy implications, this incident underscores the ongoing need for transparency and reform in law enforcement practices. Number 2. Video shows cleanup after homicide. Video surveillance captured a chilling morning at the Middlesex Detention Center following the horrifying events in Cell 3. At exactly 8:13 a.m., the usual calm of the morning was shattered when an officer unlocked the doors and the inmates began to emerge. Among them was Anthony George, who was spotted at the top of the screen leaving Cell 3. Moments later, he briefly re-entered the cell, only to emerge again, this time dragging a bag of laundry. The air was heavy with tension as other inmates, having witnessed the brutal beating the night before, set to work cleaning the common area. But before the cleanup could fully commence, a gruesome scene unfolded. George removed the body of Adam Kargas, which was wrapped tightly in sheets, from the cell and dragged it across the floor to the shower area, leaving behind a horrifying trail of blood. Inmates quickly gathered rags and solvents, scrubbing furiously to ease the bloodstains that marked the path from cell to shower. George then proceeded with a grim determination, removing a blood-stained mattress from Cell 3 and relocating it to Cell 12. In a further attempt to erase any evidence, he discarded 5 shoes from his cell into the garbage. This cleanup operation was a frantic rush against time, taking place in a brief window when officers were away from the range. It lasted from approximately 8:30 to 8:43 a.m., a tense period during which the inmates worked quickly and quietly. Once an officer returned, George continued his chillingly calm facade, mopping the area in front of his cell as if it were just another morning chore. By 9:51, the grim reality of the night's events was uncovered when the body of Adam Kargas was finally discovered, marking a dark chapter in the history of the Middlesex Detention Center. The surveillance footage, time-stamped and undeniable, offered a silent testimony to the horror that had unfolded in the quiet hours of that fateful morning. Number 1. 2 DeSoto officers kicking man in groin at police station.
Violent actions by 2 DeSoto police officers. Now those officers are facing criminal charges.
In a shocking display captured by the security cameras within the DeSoto police station's booking room, officers James Daly and Bethany Zarconi are seen engaging in a violent altercation with a suspect. The incident, now subject to criminal charges, unfolded over a few tense minutes that seemed much longer. The video starts innocuously with officers Daly and Zarconi escorting a suspect into the booking area. The atmosphere shifts dramatically when Officer Elena Campbell joins to commence the booking process. What begins as a routine procedure quickly escalates into a confrontation. Trouble starts when the suspect resists cooperating for his booking photo. Officer Daly, in an attempt to control the situation, forcibly grabs the suspect by the hair, escalating the suspect's distress. Despite his pleas, the suspect remains defiant, refusing to comply with the officer's commands. The situation intensifies as Officer Zarconi steps in, her frustration evident. In a startling move, she shoves the suspect, clutches his head, and delivers a knee strike to his groin. The suspect's scream pierces the room as the struggle continues with officers attempting to remove his shoes. The physical altercation lasts nearly 2 minutes before the suspect is dragged out of the room. This violent episode didn't come to light until 2 months later, when the DeSoto police chief, alarmed by the footage, called for an investigation by the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. The findings were damning. Officer James Daly, with a 20-year tenure in St. Louis before his stint in DeSoto, faced 3 counts of assault. Officer Zarconi was charged with 1 count of assault, and Officer Campbell was charged with tampering with evidence. Campbell defended her actions by claiming she was following orders from a supervisor who believed the deleted photos contained proof of the assault. This incident raises serious concerns about police conduct, reminding us that even those tasked with upholding the law can sometimes cross the line. The community awaits justice as the legal proceedings unfold, hoping for accountability and measures to prevent such incidents in the future.